Welcome back to Ferocious Education. This is Zed. Today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm starting with the due diligence part, and then I'm going to go through technical analysis. I hope this kind of brings a bit more value to you. I'm going to go through capitalization, company values, key ratios, and everything in between. So let's make this an amazing video. Let's jump right into it. So what we get to see here is their website. I've already covered their presentation very much in detail, so you'll find that video in the description below. But I'm going to go through any updates, and I'm going to add more value to that video. It's going to be a standalone video. So this is their website, Palantir. They are not data analysis website or company. They are more of a technology solution company, and that's what they really want to make sure that they bring across. Some of their solutions, including AI and machine learning, automotive, auto racing, case management, cyber defense, financial compliance, GDPR, insurance, intelligence, law enforcement, legal, intelligence, manufacturing, merger and acquisition, pharma, sales and revenue, and Skywise. They've been working with different governments, including for contracts for the Army. So I believe we have it right here. Palantir enters mission command with space with U.S. Army Futures Command prototype. They're working with, as well, pharma companies, to track vaccine assets. They're working with governments to track vaccinations and have stats on there. So they're going all out. A little bit of an overview here. If you go on their website, you can see a bit of their media, a bit of their CEO just talking. I can get to see Alex Karp, the CEO, is, well, massive here, including as well his recent insider purchases and sales. That's something I'll go on for a second. So one of the latest newest posts is purpose-based access controls at Palantir. It's an interesting read here. It's around 4 minutes. It's quite interesting to read on a bit more about Palantir and their technology, and they're a bit more of ideology of approaching these kind of things. So it'll be useful, but I'm not going to go through it just because it's not part of my due diligence. Now, on the last SEC filings that we get to see, or latest, we don't see any much of new updates for there. But insider transactions seem to be a little bit interesting, because on the 2nd of December, Karp Alexander has sold what looks to be almost around 1,200,000 shares. That is massive, because, well, even though his remaining shares is around 6.4, he didn't sell all, but you get to see that kind of sales going on from insiders. Why aren't they buying? Now, that is quite interesting. But again, you get to see Karp, for instance, have burdened around 1.3 million, and that's what he sold. So really, when you think about it, they're not selling their own positions, they're selling their conversions. You get to see here, this is happening. So it's not bearish at all. It's just an interesting thing where they're not holding it, but, you know, they want to cash out. And you know what? This could be, it is a part of how these people are paid. So don't freak out. Moving on now towards their valuation. So going on here, as I have their platform on market research, I do like this website. Well, it's actually from my broker. And I do have some analysts, some information. First of all, before even moving forward, in order to address this one, what is it? Is it a large cap, medium cap, small cap? It is a large cap with a market cap of around 44.789 billion. And it's only trading at $23. Now that is significant. I'll talk about it in a second. And so this is a little bit outdated from the analyst, Mark Cash. It was around less than a month ago. His fair value estimate is around $13. Now, of course, this is trading up at $24, so it's around $13 there. Saying consider sell around 2015. There's high uncertainty. Current price at $23.85. Consider buying at $7.85. And give some of the bulls versus bears arguments. The bull bears are Palantir could be the answer to problems the government and commercial customers face in successfully integrating large-scale disparate data in cohesive and coherent manner to gain insight and drive actions. Yep, Palantir has strong government business and is diversifying into potentially higher margin commercial markets. It could become the data opening system for companies and industries. The company has substantial margin expansion opportunities via improvements in development or deployment costs by offering commercial available solutions to prospects. The bears say Palantir solutions are aimed at resolving sophisticated large-scale data problems which may only develop into a niche market. I myself don't believe in that, just because, hey, look at other ones that will go on towards their industry peers. With its multi-class share structure, investors will have limited voting powers and must trust the founder's strategic imperatives. Lucrative contracts may be scorned if the deals do not match the Palantir's ideals. Now, Palantir will likely encounter stiff competition in the years ahead, including enterprise software stalwarts, defense contractors, and even in-house development teams as its customers. So that is quite interesting there. You get to see a bit more of the ins and outs. Some of their competitors, including even Square, 208, and you get to see Oracle with it's around 59.96, still higher. Now, I will go on towards their competitors in a second, including their market caps as well. I'm not going to read through the analysts' details, but if you would like, you can hear. I'm just going to go slowly over it, and I'm going to zoom out to have... Oh, no, you can't actually do that. There you go. You can just pause here and read it if you would. Right? But I'm moving forward. Going back a little. Okay, there we go. And some of the things I want to look at right off the start is the comparable companies P over S and P over B. And yeah, even P over E, okay? And when we look into here, let's say around similar market cap, around let's say 37,000. So remember the market cap here off this profile is somewhere around 44.7 billion. So it's comparable around 37,000 and 58,000. But let's look at P over S and P over B that is high, similar to this one. So we're looking, let's say, at CrowdStrike Holdings with 47.1 P over S and P over B for 45.5. With a Morningstar review very similar to what we're seeing at this level. If we jump on there for their prices, you'll find it they're trading at $167 per share. That's just something to poke your head with. And if you're looking here next on Synthesis, you're looking at around $236, and their website very much gives me the same vibes as Palantir. So they're very much off the same realm: artificial intelligence, aerospace and defense, Internet of Things, 5G, cloud, and automotive, etc. So it looks quite interesting there, and it looks like, hey, it might be actually the prices per share might increase over time. You never know with these things. Now the valuations in here, that's something important for me because price over book, it's still even better over there when we look into, let's say, the Synthesis, or even, no, well, not the Synthesis, the CrowdStrike Holdings. The price per book here is around 35.8, and price per sale is 41.2. Now, it's a lot worse than the SP 500. Now, we're looking at a price per book for the SP 500 to be somewhere around 3.8, and the price per sale is around 2.7. Price per cash flow, this is really, really high, 728 compared to 15.8 for the SP 500. So it is still quite interesting. I mean, here if we go on quickly to the industry peers and we were looking into price per cash flow, this information is not given here, but it still probably be somewhere comparable. We can compare it to P over E, and you get to see you have somewhere between hundreds or even 55, 29. And we go back to the valuation. We don't have that information there yet, but the comparable is 27.2. So you can get to see that actually in the current market and industry peers, that's where it stands in the hundreds. So that's something to consider. Now, the forward price over earnings is 192. So it is still comparable, yet it's a lot different than the SP 500s. Now we can jump into technical analysis part as promised. So the technical analysis part here, what we get to see is on a 1 week perspective, we're not able to populate anything over here with substantial information. On the 1 day perspective, it looks like it's attempting to do a pullback here. ADX shows in the trend is a little bit unsustainable. William percent R is looking like it's actually retracting. Momentum is a little bit odd because it's at a very substantial place where if it does drop a little bit lower, it can break the chart. Now, the moving average band between the 10 SMA and the 30 EMA, that's where reversals are likely. You get to see it bounce back there. Now, it has until 1847 before you can consider it to be bearish, but it's still looking bullish nonetheless. Now, on a 2-hour perspective, what we get to see here is something very similar, except that it's a little bit more sloppy on all the averages or all the technical indicators below, and when we look into the moving averages, it looks sloppy / bearish. Now, the moving average band, it's expected for this one to trade somewhere on the top of 22.13, the middle 2012, and 18.11. When we look into the stochastic fast and stochastic slow, they're telling you, hey, be careful. This one actually might continue to drop for a little. You might want to cash out a little and buy down on a lower average. Now, the Fibonacci retracements, this is the thing where things get really interesting. It bounced off the 2124 Fibonacci support. Now the current support for it is that below there, 1834 and 1475 below there. Significant Fibonacci resistance is 2414, 2827, and 3353. Now significant supports in general, using the price line action here, and we're going to use 1 month, 2 hours perspective just to give you a little bit more of a leeway. So current support is 2385. Below there, we're looking down to 2257. Below there, 2144, 1926, and then 1808, 1801, 1675, 1553, and 1415. Significant resistances, you're looking at 2478. Then you're looking 2620, 2679. 2808, and then jumping up to 2890. Now, Ed, what do you think about the stock? For trading purposes, I do think they might see a little bit of a drop there, but for long-term investments, you get to see the comparable different stocks, even though it is still on the same market cap. They're trading in hundreds, and that definitely puts something into other investors' long-term mind, because a lot of people don't look into the massive capitalization, but rather than the price points for other ones. And I do think this one has a lot of future with all the news and stuff coming in. But you need to let it settle. If you're investing, you got to leave this for 10 years or something, or 3, 4 years, 2 years, whatever it is. But if you're trading, it might be time to consider perhaps selling a little if you're coming in all the way from, let's say, the 13 bucks. And then, hey, not selling all, but if it does drop, add more. And that is a bit my perspective. What do you think about it? Make sure to mention down in the comments below. If you like this video, we have a Discord channel or Discord server that you can join in. We talk about technical analysis, different stocks, etc. It's not paid at all, so please feel free to join it. It's in the link down below. Have a wonderful day.